Okay, so now this is just the second part to quickly show you one last feature to the task sheet. So as mentioned, we're gonna be going through and we're gonna just work down the task sheet. Now, obviously I skipped a line here. Go in order, don't skip around on the sheet because or else it makes it very convoluted and hard to keep track of what's being done and what's not being done. So work directly straight down on the sheet. That's step number one. Step two that I need to mention is this column. So I mentioned you guys will be responsible for kind of these five columns. These two columns over here, A and B, give you the information you need to know to create the designs. And then D and E are really the only two columns you actually put letters in. Well, I guess you will here also. So these three columns are your three columns you ever write in. So you'll go through, as mentioned, you'll create that first design for the first house. Once we approve it, we mark it green. So, okay, so these should all be marked green, for instance. I just haven't, just to avoid any confusion. So these should all be marked green. Then you go through and create them. If this was marked green, then you could go through and this would be like your, whoops. If this cell was marked green, then this could be like your project for that night is go through, and create the various designs. And obviously it should go pretty quickly. You're just creating the exact same design over and over and over again with just different letters, different fonts. It's not, you don't need to really worry about coming up with brand new artwork every single design. So you should be able to, really go through several of these pretty quickly. So yeah, so that's the first thing. Number two is on this column. This is where we put notes, revisions, or licensing. So let's say we gave you a design. Let's go to design 39 for this one. Or let's just do design 37 since it's up here. So let's say this next task was going to be design 37 that we're going to tackle. And let's pretend that there was a note here. I'm going to insert a note here just for the sake of argument. Um, to, I don't know what design 37 is. Let's actually just see what it is really quick. That'll make it easier. So design 37 is this right here, kappa alpha theta with this kappa alpha theta below it on the hat, it looks like. Well, what if we're like, well, we're gonna put this on a black hat or a blue hat. So we're gonna put it on a blue hat. Well, we can't have this blue be blue or else the blue won't show up on a blue hat. So we might go and we would create a note for you. We're gonna insert a note here and say, change blue to white or something simple like that. Well, before you get started on any of your designs, always take a look at this column right here, because if it's blue, that means it's a note from us. So this note is basically saying what we want changed on the design. So for this large license sorority for design 37, when you create that first kappa alpha theta design for us to review before creating all of them, as mentioned, make sure that check on this, you just hover over it. It just tells you change blue to white. Cool. Well, you're going to go on here and change blue to white. Then when you upload that to, our design 37 folder, which again you will create, but I believe it's already created on this example. Yeah, design 37. Normally you'll be creating the folders because as you see, you'll run out very quickly because most is already filled up with designs. So you'll go through create 37, upload that artwork, and then obviously we'll mark it off green if it looks good. And then you can move on, date it, we'll mark it green and move on to the next thing. Now let's say you uploaded it and let's say I marked it off. And let's say the next day we went through and we saw it, and let's say you forgot to change the coloring from blue to white. Well, what we would do then is we would come in here and we'd make a revision. So all I do is I probably just change this to red. That lets you know that it's a revision. So you upload a design and we need to revise. So when you go through and revise that artwork, you'd go into design number 37 on here. You download whatever you uploaded the day before or 2 days before, whatever it was, and you would revise that artwork. So you go through and be, oh, I forgot to change it from blue to white. You'd go through, change it from blue to white, and then if you did that, all you do is you'd mark off the initials on the revision. This lets us know that the revision is done. So until you mark this off or sign it off, we won't know to check it again. So this lets us know that the revision is taken care of and that the new version is uploaded to Adobe. Now, when you upload the new version, I'm gonna go to a different folder because there's nothing in 37 right now, but let's say you create a new version of a file. So let's say, you can't really see that one. We'll just go up here. So I know that they're all in here right now, but assume, there's only one in here right now. If you uploaded, let's say Alpha Chi Omega, and we want this to be white and you made it black. Well, what you do is we want you to get rid of this file. So you can either do this and click upload new version, or you can click delete, whatever you want. Get rid of the old file because we don't need the old file that's, really that's defective that we don't need. So delete that old file. This helps avoid confusion. So delete the old file and then upload the new file. Don't put both files in here. So whenever you upload a new version of a file, so when you go back through and you make that revision, make sure you get rid of the old file that's in here within this design folder. Don't upload them together or else they just starts creating confusion of which one is the right file to be using for the rest of the team. So you'll be going through, and then if that looks good, what will happen is you'll wake up, and if you sign off, everything looks good. Well, obviously we'll mark that off. We will turn this from blue. I'll just reset it, and now cool. That means the revision's gone. It's taken care of. If this looked good, then obviously we'll just mark that green, and then you're good to go to create all versions of that file. Now, we do also deal with licensing. We do a lot of printing for other organizations who kind of big national chapters, and we have to have everything approved from them from licensing. So if it ever gets to the end of our kind of chain and one of our employees uploads this stuff and we need a revision, well, that's what the purple's for. Purple is basically the same thing as red. It's a revision that needs done. So as far as you guys are concerned, it's really just another revision. So if for some reason you finished this design and everything was perfect, you got to the end, but suddenly out of nowhere a purple blop showed up here, and it said maybe one of the houses we work with won't let you have, I don't know, too many words in one row. I mean, they have really, really weird rules, to be honest. We're always learning new rules with them. So maybe you created, the 26 designs. We might have a note that says, hey, Alpha Chi Omega needs to be on separate lines or something, and maybe we also put in like Pi Beta Phi, maybe it was spelled wrong and we didn't realize it. So it got slipped through the cracks. Pi Beta Phi is spelled wrong. Something like that. Again, what you do is whenever you start working, always go through, check this column first for any red/purple. Do that stuff first. That way we just knock it out. So go through, knock out any red, purple. So these are just revisions. Once that's done, you just mark off the initials. Cool, that's good. That lets us know that those are good to go be checked. Upload those new versions, delete the old versions. So when you go back and upload the new Pi Beta Phi and the new Alpha Chi Omega designs into this folder for design 31, make sure you delete those old versions. And you upload the new version. So that's very, very important. Once you do this, the next thing you should focus on is all versions. So if there's anything in this column you can do this first. So obviously right here we see, okay, these two designs are ready to be duplicated. So the first thing you should do after checking the revisions is go through and do these two tasks. So go through and duplicate these designs for them, and you would upload them into folder 35 and 37 once they're all done. And then once that's done, then you go and you start creating all of these. So then you go and you start creating, design 39 and then design 40 and then 10. But that's the priority level 3. So 1 is this, 2 is this, 3 is this. Simple as that. So if you have any questions, of course, let us know, and we may add more videos in the future to help clear some stuff up. Thank you.